Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile, and this is the Muse Hifi M6 Double, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank HifiGo for providing the Muse Hifi M6 Double for review. Greatly appreciate it. HifiGo, you rock. Alright, so the Muse Hifi M6 Double, this will set you back $400 from your bank account. It is a portable DAC amp. Now, the Muse Hifi M6 Double is a special edition. It's limited to 1,000 units. The M6 Double has a Sabre ES9039 DAC chip. It also has a Jan 6418 tubes in it. It has a dual independent AS3188 oscillators, 3-level gain adjustment, 7 digital filter modes. It also has a Qualcomm QCC5125 Bluetooth 5.2 chip in it, capable of LDAC and aptX adaptive. It has a 4,500 milliamp battery, which is roughly about 6 to 8 hours worth of usage. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And it also has something really unique, which is IN7 Nixie tubes for the volume. Is that not the coolest thing ever? So you have the Nixie tubes, you have Jan 6418 tubes, you have a Sabre ES9039 DAC chip. It has 3.5 and 4.4 balanced output, and it just has a really cool look. So it has all kinds of internals that are, amazing, but on top of that, it just has one of the coolest looks for a portable. Now, it's rather large, it is heavy, it is big. This is, it's as big as my hand. And it has a glass front. You can see the board on it. It's got some branding on it there. And then on the back, you have more glass. So you're definitely going to want to have a cleaning cloth handy so you can wipe it down and keep it really cool looking. And then you need to wipe down the front because you get fingerprints all over it. So you have a display here on the front. It'll tell you if you're in Bluetooth mode or if you're in USB PCM mode. It'll show you what your gain is, low, medium, or high. It'll also tell you if you're in Bluetooth mode, if you're doing LDAC or aptX. It'll show you your battery life. It'll show you your Bluetooth, or if you're in transistor mode or tube mode, excuse me. And it also has a little sleeper mode. On the back side here, you have 2 USBs, one for data, one for charging, 4.4 and 3.5 output. I know it's a little bit of a frustration with the outputs being on the back side, but if you were to put them on the front, it would have to be bigger or taller, larger size. So I understand them being on the back. It's just a little bit of a frustration. And then on one side here, you have your big, huge volume knob. You have your power button, press and hold, turn it on and off. You also have a multi-function menu button, which changes the menus here on the front. And you can see that they blink when you cycle through them. In order to change them, you just use one of the arrow buttons, which are here. And the arrow buttons will control your play, back, music, and go through the menus. And then on the other side, you have vents, which also will light up. So you can see the beautiful tubes. And let me activate those. And there you go. They light up. You can also see them there on the board. So having all of this in, with the glass and big, it's going to get scratched up. And so thankfully Muse Hifi has included a nice carrying case. Says M6 Double on one side. You have a big huge area here for the screen. and openings for all your buttons, and you just slide it in, and you have a display. Now, the one bummer of it is the board opening here is open, but in order to get your view of your menu and the volume, you have to set it down, face down, and then your top is just the backside of the M6 Double, and it says M6 Double there. But you do have access to all the cables and your outputs. Overall, I like the look and the design of the M6 Double. It's a little bit heavy, it's a little big. I would not really say that it's pocketable. It definitely is going to take up a lot of space, and it's going to weigh you down. So it is kind of portable-ish. It's more of a stackable, I guess. It's not complete desktop, but it's also not a true portable. Portable because it has battery in it, and that's about it. Speaking of battery, as mentioned, it has a 4500 milliamp battery, about 6 to 8 hours of usage. So it depends on if you're using low, medium, or high gain, how loud you're listening, and what kind of headphones you're driving it, how much it's having to work. I found that the M6 Double got me roughly about 7 hours of listening consistently. And I rarely ever used high gain, so being that it was on the lowest gain settings, and I tend to listen at a lower level, around 60 to 70 dB on a regular basis, the M6 Double lasted roughly about 7 hours per charge. Doesn't charge the fastest. It took about 4 to 5 hours to charge up for me. The box that it comes in is kind of cool looking. You get a picture here on the front, some specs on the back. And overall, I just find that the presentation of the M6 Double is very nice, well built. And, you know, as long as you don't drop it and you pamper it a little bit, it should stay nice and clean and not get scratched up, especially if you use the case. Power wise, so output wise, I wasn't able to find the actual numbers that say this is how much power the M6 Double has, but going off of its little sibling, the M5 Ultra, I can officially say with confidence that the M6 Double has probably about double the power. I was rather surprised at how much gear the M6 Double drives. Any IEM, no problem. Even harder to drive IEMs that have like planar drivers in them, no problem whatsoever. Even on low gain, medium gain on some. I never used high gain with any IEMs. It drove them without any issues. And the nice thing is it also has, it seems like, lower output impedance, as I didn't have a lot of hissing or distortion either, especially on low gain. So even those pesky, easy to drive, sensitive IEMs, I had no issues with the M6 Double. Headphones. Now, headphones were a slight problem with the M5 Ultra. The M5 Ultra will drive easier to drive headphones, mostly dynamics, but when it came to like the harder to drive dynamics or planar headphones, the M5 Ultra kind of bogged down a little bit and wasn't able to drive them as well and accurately. M6 Double, no problem whatsoever. I was able to drive Moondrop Para, which is a fairly hard to drive planar headphone, no problem whatsoever. Did have to boost it up into high gain, but then it was only about 40 to 50% of volume, and it was really loud. So it drives harder to drive headphones very easily. Other things that it was able to drive: HD 600s, HD 660 S2s, HD 580 Precisions, and others. It was able to drive headphones very easily and was rather impressive while doing it. I was really surprised at the ease that the M6 Double just oozes out music. It's just like, here you go. You want your headphones? Not a problem. You want IEMs? Oh, piece of cake. And it was just able to drive headphones and IEMs very, very well. So the M6 Double from Muse Hifi, how does it sound? So has 2 different modes, also has 7 different digital filters. Not really going to talk about details about the digital filters. Yeah, there were slight differences. Were any of them better than the other? It was just slightly different. The one that I preferred was F7, and it just, to me, sounded the most clean and most analytical and most neutral sounding. All the other ones added in little bits of flavor here and there, but none of them were super significantly different. They all kind of had similar characteristics, maybe a little bit more warmth, maybe a smaller soundstage, that type of stuff, but none of them were to the point where I didn't want to use it. F7 just was kind of the one I stuck with. So the M6 Double, how does it sound? Transistor mode. The M6 Double has a very clean, neutral, analytical presentation with a kiss of naturalism. Found that the bass has very nice extension into the sub bass. There's good presence in the mid bass and in the upper bass, and it all just is very cohesive and balanced with nice texture and very good impact, punch, and slam. There's nice rumble and grumble in the sub bass, and I found this very well controlled, very detailed, and very resolving with nice natural tone and timbre. Overall, I really enjoyed the bass on transistor mode and just found it to be a very neutral presentation. Going into the mids, I found that the mids had a nice balance to them, and it also had really nice clarity. There's good note weight and a nice natural tone in the mids, and it's very easy to follow an instrument or a vocalist all the way through the track, even when it is more complex going on. I just found that the mids were very well controlled and very separated, everything had its own little place, but yet also they were not fighting for attention. Everything played very well together. It's very cohesive and very balanced. And then the treble, the same way as the mids. Everything had its own little place. It was all playing very well, very cohesively, but there was a nice extension into the upper reaches. There was good air, nice space, and overall nice bite, edge, and crispness throughout the treble without being fatiguing or too forthright. It had that balance between just enough and not enough. They walked that line very well. It was very well controlled in the treble. Soundstage of the M6 Double with the transistor mode is a very wide, and it has nice air and space, and also it has a naturalism about it. It does a really good job of small, medium, large, and grand size. It does a good job of portraying different venues without sounding artificial. Also, it has very good depth and nice layering. Everything has its own little place, and it stays separated without fighting each other for attention. Tracking across the stage is very precise and accurate. You can lock on and follow things across the stage. You can hear them exit and enter and flow properly, and you can just easily go, that's right, that's left, that's right there, then there, that's in front, that's behind. Everything moves very well. Detail retrieval is also amazing. I was never disappointed in the details that were brought in. I wasn't hunting and pecking and saying, I normally hear this. I heard everything. And there were times when I was going, I don't think I normally hear that in a track. And then everything was very refined, defined, and focused. The resolution of the M6 Double is extremely good. And I was rather impressed at that abilities. And then tone and timbre is very natural and accurate. There's good note weight, nice density to things, and it sounds very natural and accurate. It has a very neutral presentation to things, and I just found that overall on transistor mode, the M6 Double is a very neutral, analytical with a kiss of naturalism. Turning it on to vacuum tube mode, I found that all of a sudden the M6 Double gets a little bit more pleasurable. You lose just a little bit of stage width, but you gain a lushness and a fullness and just this little bit of this you just feel a little bit more of a cozy pleasurableness, but yet at the same time it retains the details and the resolution, and it just kind of adds a little bit more body and just a little bit more of a cozy enjoyableness. And everything else is still there. You lose just a little bit of the width and a little bit of the depth and layering. It just kind of gets that little cozier, closer, and you get that loveliness in the music. So overall, the Muse Hifi M6 Double. I like this. I like this a lot. I like the ability to be able to transition from transistor mode to tube mode. I like that it has all the power that I need in a portable, and it drives anything, headphone wise, IEM wise, no problems whatsoever. If I want to use Bluetooth, it worked very well. If I want to use it in USB, which is the way that about 99% of the time that I was listening to it, I used it, and it worked just fine. It can charge it while I'm using it. It has a big battery, lasts me about 7 hours. Overall, the M6 Double, this thing is fantastic. But how does it compare to a couple others? Most importantly, how does it compare to its little brother, the M5 Ultra? Well, we've already talked a few things about the M5 Ultra. Sound-wise, they're kind of similar-ish. The M5 Ultra has transistor mode. It has vacuum tube mode. But I find that the M6 Double just does it better. It just adds a little bit more warmth to it. It has a little bit more body to it. But at the same time, it's better detailed, better resolving. The DAC chip is an improvement. It's a 9039 in the M6 Double. It's a 9038 Q2M in the M5 Ultra. And it's just a little refinements, a little improvements that the M6 Double just takes to the next step and just makes it better and just does it better. It is bigger, heavier, but it looks cool. And, it has the Nixie tubes and all kinds of other things in it. Both do Bluetooth very well, and both have filters. Overall, the M5 Ultra is the little brother, and it's almost there, but it's not quite as good as its big brother. But it still looks really cool and sounds amazing. SMSL DS20. Now, I love the SMSL DS20. Completely different beast here. Doesn't have tube mode, but looks cool. You get the board on it. You have 4.4 output. You don't have Bluetooth. You have more limited stuff with the DS20, but sound wise, the DS20 is on par with the M6 Double when it comes to its abilities to sound neutral and analytical. The DS20 is just as detailed, about as good resolving, and it has a big soundstage, very precise and accurate in its placement. And it has a really good analytical neutral bass, mids, and treble. But the M6 Double in transistor mode does have just a little bit more body and a little bit more naturalism. The DS20 is slightly more clinical and leaning just a little bit on the more cold side than the M6 Double in transistor mode. So it kind of depends. What are you looking for and what's your budget? M5 Ultra, you get the tubes, you get transistor, full neutral, and big details and resolution, slightly on the colder side. Go with the DS20, or if you want a little bit of both and slightly better than both, go with the M6 Double. I like this. I like this a lot. Highly recommend it. But it is limited edition, and there's only 1,000 of them available. So if you have the money and you really want tubes and transistor mode, this is one to get. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, support channel. Speak of supporting channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon, YouTube memberships, and one-time gifts. Thank you very much for all that you give to the channel. It's much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting channel, check out the links down below. Also down below, there's all kinds of other information, gear rankings, music recommendations, and all kinds of other things listed down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.